Good morning. This is me, Jimmy McMillan. I'm in my car. As you can see, I'm a little bundled up. It's in New York. It's cold. I'm making this video for the renters in New York to understand what they are facing. They don't know. Neither do the elected officials who they vote for know. It's what I've been trying to get through to the voters for 2 decades. As some of you may have heard, I am an independent undercover investigator. I'm not licensed by the state because I uncovered the involvement of so many elected officials in the state. All of them, who they are supported by the Landlord and Real Estate Association, and so are the judges in housing court, is what I'm talking about now. It's really, I directed it that everything is focused right now today on housing court. And what they are allowing to take place is what is wrong with the country. It's why I'm running for president of the United States. The president has signed bills into law without realizing the devastation those bills would have on the people. Well, let me go to housing court and I'll explain what I mean. Immigration, U.S. citizen, non-U.S. citizen. Landlords are coming from other countries. They are buying property. They are becoming your landlord. But what they're doing, supposed to have been detected by the state attorney general, or if not the state attorney general, the U.S. attorney general is supposed to oversee the country, the state, America, the country, and to make sure that his people be on top of what goes on in this country. Well, that's not happening. They've fallen asleep. And when they fell asleep, I woke up. When I realized that they was allowing something to take place, which means that ICE, the immigration authorities, immigration enforcement, when immigrants come to this country, they're supposed to be on top of them to make sure they don't do what they're doing now, but they didn't do that. What I'm going to do, this is the 7th of January 2012, I am preparing papers to process against this, what I'm going to say, in federal court. And I do need your help. I'm gonna, if I have to go it alone, then I will. So if an attorney can listen to what I gotta say, then don't hesitate to email me at the email address you see at the bottom of the screen. And let's get the ball moving for the American people. Here's what they're doing. They're coming to America, forming corporations. In my case, the corporation is called Lilco. The company name I pay my rent to is Jaguar. It's known by a company called Gatsby. But I don't care about any of the names they use. What they're doing is they're hiding behind the corporation. Immigrants are requiring U.S. citizens personal information. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that this is a violation of your constitutional right. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand that. All you need to do is be an American citizen that understands your constitutional right. But what the landlords are doing, what their plan was to come here to buy property and to get rich quick. Oh, they're coming at it. They're coming after tenants with some of the so-called high-power lawyers professionally know how to trick things up, to aggravate the hell out of a tenant, to make your life a complete, to make it miserable as hell for you, so that you can get frustrated and just leave. And they have been successful until now. I'm dealing with that situation I'm talking about at the moment. And the landlords all throughout, I came to Brooklyn because of my undercover work, because it was so widespread here. And working as an undercover investigator, I was able to get all the information I needed to help this country and more. But the landlord has a problem with wanting me out of the apartment where I live that you've seen in the newspapers. I'm going to talk about that. Because he said that I don't live there. My family, wherever my family is, that's where I'm at. These are people who coming from other third world countries, bringing that ideology or whatever you call that to this country, where the landlord wants to know where you sleep, where you eat, what you eat, who comes, who goes. They want to know your bank account. They want to know your credit card information. All of that is a total violation of the Constitution and ridiculously unnecessary. New York State has laws to make sure that a tenant, you don't even need a credit check for an apartment. All of this happened after the attack on the World Trade Center, with the country and the state and the city dropped their guard and left the people unprotected. And this is when they moved in. The corrupt activities of those, including elected officials, which some have already pleaded guilty to different types of mortgage fraud and real estate fraud. What a mess. So I'm sending a letter to the U.S. Attorney General office, the Immigration Enforcement Authorities called ICE, as well as the New York State Attorney General, and ask them to investigate this landlord, because this landlord is an immigrant. The landlord who asked me, where the judge ordered me to turn over to this landlord my bank statements, my personal information. I either turn it over or get evicted. Now, the judge ought to know better, but the judge don't. Is why I have to jump over this and go to federal court. The case is still in court. I'm going to jump over housing court and go to federal court to ask the judge to put a restraining order on the procedures, because my whole record and life is open to the public. Meaning it is open for identity theft and identity fraud. Now, as you know, I'm an undercover investigator. In 1988, I uncovered, first, before I tell you that, I'm a United States Army veteran I'm a bomb maker and a demolition specialist trained by the United States military. I uncovered something in New York that seemed to be a terror organization, which in 2001, you later learned them as to be Al-Qaeda. I uncovered them and what they was up to and them working. And they caught on to me investigating them into the area in which they were working. Go to rent2damnhigh.org and you'll see what they did to me. They took me to a tree, doused me with gasoline, to find out who I worked for. They tried to set me afire, but I could keep hearing a flickering, as though whatever the gas they poured on me, whatever lighting they used to burn me or set me afire was wet and it didn't light, and I started screaming my ass off. Immediately following that, I climbed to the top of the Brooklyn Bridge, one or the other. I don't remember exactly which one. I climbed to the top of the Brooklyn Bridge because I couldn't talk, because they threatened to kill my family. They threatened to kill my wife at the time, my son, and they even learned where my mom lived in Florida, and had spoken about that. I had met with their leader on a few occasions to save my family. I needed to come forward, and I needed to get the attention of law enforcement. I'd written letters to the FBI asking them for help. I needed to speak to them. They never came to see what I wanted. I had to be quiet because of my family, because the state denied, the country denied to assist me. There were no Homeland Security at the time. It was just a group of sorry FBI agents who could have stopped the attack on the World Trade Center because it could have been prevented. And I will get into that at another story. But right now, I want to focus on the immigrant landlords who are requiring personal information illegally from tenants or from U.S. citizens. And all throughout the area of Brooklyn, there are landlords from other parts of the world. They have family members who have felonies. They have family members who property has been turned over to them after death. And these people who are not citizens have information on American citizens, and that's a violation of the law, of the Constitution. And the American people need help. American people first must learn to stop paying attention to all of these people who they see trying to run for public office. These people are running for public office from the Midwest. They don't understand the criticalness of the problem that we have because they were once elected officials. And they couldn't see it. They are a part of the problem. So we need to shut it down. But for right now, you have all throughout Brooklyn, New York, Bronx, Staten Island, Manhattan, and Queens is where I spend most of my time investigating the corruption and illegal activities of immigrant landlords. People need help, and they are going to get it. I haven't been able to get city council. I rose to the surface in 2010 as a rent activist, and the city council has not invited me to ask me any questions, not even the city council in my neighborhood, in my area, to sit and talk to me, to invite me to speak to the council. And I don't have to tell you who that person is. I'm pretty sure they'll see this and find out that I'm not going to call you, that you running for city council to help the people, and you're looking for me to run to you, then you know enough information has been given by me to let you understand who I am. I'm looking for you to step up and come forward to help these people. But in the meantime, immigrant landlords all throughout the state of New York, following the attack on the World Trade Center, has moved in and is forcing people out using a tactics from criminal court, using a tactic from criminal court called discovery to learn everything about every tenant in that complex, and that's a violation of your constitutional rights. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit and let that happen. Even when I take the paper to court, I'm first going to send the landlord a letter, let him know that I'm doing this according to federal court law or federal rules. Let him know that I am taking them to court on immigration violations, as well as charge them with discrimination and invasion of privacy. I just want to make sure that all of you understand. Don't compromise your freedom. Don't let anyone snatch your freedom from under your feet. And that is what's happening here. Your freedom is being taken away from you, and you're not saying or doing anything about it. And that is something that I am going to make sure that all of us, every American, understand that there is someone fighting for your rights, and he's right here. You're looking at him. His name is Jimmy McMillan. This country will get on the right track. We has fallen asleep when it comes to getting the right people in the right position to help the American people. But if I explain that right, but we're going to get it right, and it's going to work. So for right now, I think I've said enough. I'm going to take photos of you're going to see some photos, and the landlords are using housing court to get information about every American citizen for all the tenants that lived in their building on their property. And that is not the way the Constitution, that is not the way freedom, that is not the way you take it from there. That is not the way the Constitution was designed. And those who are not American citizens are redesigning the Constitution to fit their coming here and owning property. Because they own the property, say it's either their way or the highway. And I'm not having it. And I hope you can join me. I'm looking to get some feedback. So feel free to invite me to your political forums Invite me to your media forums, invite me to your radio forums, your newspaper forums, or your college forums, because this is huge. And I need you all to help me shut it down. And it's easy to shut down. I just need you, the people, to join behind me to give me the support I need. And thank you.